We get aces. Again, I raised it up to 75 bucks. Englishman's in the small blind, and you could tell he has a hand. He puts in a large 3-bet of 425. I decided to just put in a 4-bet to 1.1k, which is about half of his stack. Fortunately for us, he's pretty much made up his mind that his hand is good enough for an all-in. And of course, we snap and show. And he shows my least favorite hand to go up against.
Alright, so here's the deal, guys. I'm actually at a different card club right now, but we're finishing editing the vlog at home. And this upcoming vlog is sick. Like, literally every single hand that I played and raised with was a premium. Like, the worst hand I had was like Queen 10 of diamonds. Everything else was aces, ace king, queens. I got aces 4 times, etc. And we get into a lot of action. So anyway, this vlog is a treat. We've been running bad for a little bit, but finally our luck has turned. Y'all stay tuned to this vlog because this is the most action hands I've had in one vlog yet. Enjoy.
First hand for the vlog. Techie Reg limps in for 25 before Kid Prodigy raises it to 100. With aces, we 3-bet him to 325 and only Techie Reg calls. Interesting. It's not usual for a hand to limp call a 3-bet. Anyway, we're heads up to a flop of Jack 10-6 monotone. In general, I'm pretty wary of monotone boards, especially out of position with no redraw. So I check to see what my opponent wants to do. He starts with a bet of 300. I call. The turn is the 6 of diamonds pairing the board. Not worried about the boats, of course, but there's a small chance he might have a 6. Even though I couldn't imagine him betting that on the flop. When I check it over, he fires another small bet, $450. With an overpair, I'm not yet to go anywhere, so I make the call. The river's an 8 of spades. Any 1-card flush draw misses, but the straight does come in. I decide to check it over a third time, and this time, Techie Reg shoves for 1.6k. We lose to flushes, straights, and trips. It's a pretty gross spot, and after a while, I decide to just give it up. His cold 3-bet call is pretty strong, and there's certainly some small suited aces in his range. I'm just gonna have to go with my gut this time based on his betting pattern and just how I felt in the moment. What do you guys think? You guys making that call?
Alright, pretty rough start with pocket aces. On monotone boards, we're just doing a lot of check calling, and especially on a paired board. Not that I think he has a lot of sets in his range, but I do see him limp calling a lot of pocket 10s, pocket 8s that just gets there. I don't know. He has a whole bunch of ace-x combinations. He has a whole bunch of baby suited connectors. He just has way too much, and I think we're starting the session down negative 1800 or something like that, but hate that we keep on starting sessions negative like this.
A few hands later, there's a limp and a raise by Kid Prodigy. I'm in a cutoff, and I look down to Big Slick. I 3-bet him to 385, and only Kid calls. Heads up to a flop. The flop is a dry board of 962. Kid checks it over, and even though this board doesn't connect with my range that much, my hand is incentivized to get folds. There's plenty of hands in my range that will still want to c-bet, so the bet seems fine to me. I bet 525, and our opponent calls. The turn is an 8 of clubs, which is much better for my opponent's range. When he checks it over, it's not a good card for me to barrel on, so I just check it back. And then, the river's no help. This time, he leads out for 750. It's a reasonable call with any overpair, but this isn't the runout I want a hero call on. Too many sets, too many 2 pairs, and once in a while a weird straight. Just way too many things that I lose to. So I just fold. Not without a quick needle from the kid, of course.
Wow, you almost owned me. You were gonna call with ace queen?
No.
After that last hand, I reloaded my stack and good timing. Because we get aces. Again. It folds to me in the cutoff, and I raised it up to 75 bucks. Englishman's in the small blind, and you could tell he has a hand. He puts in a large 3-bet of 425. He has about $1,500 behind, and if I call, it's roughly an SPR of 2, and most likely we can get it all in on the turn. But if he has a hand like jacks or 10s, way too many scared cards can kill the action. I decided to just put in a 4-bet to 1.1k, which is about half of his stack. Fortunately for us, he's pretty much made up his mind that his hand is good enough for an all-in, and of course, we snap and show. And he shows my least favorite hand to go up against, pocket queens. Whatever, run it once for max pain. The flop is 9 high, and the run out is perfect. We get paid with aces, and avoid another catastrophe from queens.
Wow, what a bailout, huh? We get aces, we get it all in with queens, and to be honest, I've lost to queens so many times the past week. It's ridiculous, and just fortunate we get the run good this time around. Aces hold, and let's go, guys. We're back in the game.
PLO Bombpot time. And the flop's pretty good for my hand. I flopped the nut straight with a boat redraw. And better yet, Online Pro kicks off the action with a pot-sized bet. And Splashy raises. Bluffy calls a 600, and now it's on me. I'm on high alert with all the action in front of me, and if I didn't have a set of kings, I'd most likely fold my hand. But with the redraw on the bottom board and some backdoors on the top, let's put in a call and go from there. Small blind calls, and so does big blind. We're going 5 ways deep, And the bottom turn card is amazing. Online Pro checks, and this time, Splashy slows down. It checks over to us, and with top boat, let's start getting some value. My plan here is to bet half pot before potting the river. I bet 1.5k, and everyone folds. With nothing on the top, I actually don't mind scooping the pot here at all. Nice pot for us. So, we're 5 hands into the vlog. Notice anything? Yep, I'm getting a ton of premium hands. So in the next hand, I raise it up to 75 and a +3 with ace jack of hearts. Splashy calls on the button and Bluffy closes the action. 3 ways to the flop. The flop's pretty good for my range, king, queen, 6 rainbow. So when Bluffy checks it over, I start with a half pot bet of 125. Splashy calls on the button and Bluffy folds. The turn is a 3 of diamonds, which shouldn't change anything. The goal here is to start folding smaller pairs and maybe some queens. I bet 200 with a larger bet saved for the river. And it looks like we're gonna need that larger bet as the button calls. The river's no help, so if I'm gonna win this pot, I'm gonna need to get it done now. I put in a triple barrel and bet 2/3 pot. I'm never folding a king here, so really, I'm just trying to get queens on down to fold. And we get one through as he lets it go. Historically, I've slowed down on the river with a big chunk of my range, both value and bluffs. So it's a part of my game that I've been working on. I thought I'd get some help from a solver. Over the last few months, I've tried a few different apps, but the one GTO trainer that's really stood out to me is GTO Wizard. GTO Wizard is a library of pre-solved solutions. It's significantly reduced my time in running simulations and trying to figure out what a general strategy should be in common situations. Now, I mentioned that I've been working on my river game, so let's take a look at the last hand and run it through GTO Wizard just so we can see what the optimal play would have been. So I'm just gonna go ahead and set this up for a very similar situation that we're in. Just keep in mind that it's not exactly perfect to the game that I played, but it's going to be pretty close enough. So we raised from early position and Splashy called on the button. And the board was king, queen, 6, king of spades, queen of diamonds, and 6 of clubs. And with my exact hand of ace jack of hearts, it looks like I want to do a lot of betting. In fact, 83% of my exact hand is going to bet using a small size bet, which is what we did in the actual hand. That's a good head start for us. And of course, we know that our opponent made the call on the button. When the turn came a 3 of diamonds, I mentioned that that wouldn't have changed anything. So our goal was to put in a small bet with a 3rd river barrel if needed. In game, I use a 40% sizing, but let's go ahead and see what GTO Wizard recommends. So we're going back to our hand of ace jack of hearts, and it looks like in general, it's using somewhere between a 50 to a 80% sizing. So it looks like we could have sized up on the turn a little bit, and on a 5 of spades, I mentioned that we were going to have to go for a triple barrel, and in game, I used a 2/3 sizing. Let's take a look at what my exact hand is trying to do. So it looks like we're never checking. We're going to go for the triple barrel. So that's good. We got that right. And in terms of sizing, 50% of the time, it's going to use a half pot size. And then with the remaining, an over bet. Somewhere between a 50 to a 150% bet. So lately, I've been reviewing my hands after all of my sessions, especially after the downswing. And I was able to find a few spots that were low-hanging fruits that I can correct. So I've been using GTO Wizard a lot, and I highly recommend it for anyone who's trying to review their play in a very fast and efficient way. I'm going to leave the link down in the description below. And if you're interested in using my link, you do get 10% off the first month. And I also get a small commission off of that sale. If you guys have any questions at all, post it down in the comment section. But otherwise, highly recommend GTO Wizard. All right, let's get back into the vlog. In this hand, yep, another premium. What a dream session. It folds all the way to the button and I wake up with the ladies. I raise it up to 75 and both small blind and straddle call. 3 ways to the flop. I'm not thrilled about the overcard on the flop, so when it checks to me, I'm alright checking it back and playing a 2-street game. The turn is a jack. Oil money checks, and this time the under the gun straddle bets 150. With a good pair, I'm at least in for a call, but when small blind also calls, I'm on high alert. The river is a blank. Oil money checks, and so does techie reg. Betting here is quite thin, and I'm a little indifferent to betting versus checking. I decided to just take my showdown, and it looks like queens are good. Feels like I might have missed a bet, but in the moment, I really didn't like the turn call from oil money. Either way, another pot coming my way. So I promised you 4 pocket rockets, and here's number 3. Bluffy raises his low jack to 75. We have the best hand in poker, so let's pump it up to 250. Splashy overcalls in a big blind, and Bluffy closes the action. 3 ways to the flop. And this one doesn't disappoint. Ace 10-3 rainbow. We have top set. It gets checked to me, and I bet small 225, hoping to get a call from anything. Only Bluffy makes the call. The turn connects the board a little more, a king of clubs, bringing in straights and backdoor clubs. But I can't be shy to bet. It checks to me once more, and this time I size up a little. Unfortunately, Bluffy doesn't have a calling hand, but this was still a nice medium-sized pot.
Alright, so the game is going pretty smooth sailing. We won a couple of small pots. Really just kind of coasting right now. I mean, we haven't really gotten any big hands. Got a couple of big bomb pots that we had to chop, but I think for the most part, we're playing well. I don't think we're getting any line anywhere, so hopefully we can run good. Maybe get one or two more big hands, but I'm just happy that we won with aces finally.
Pretty comical, but I think this is the worst hand I have to share in this vlog. After Splashy raises to 75, Bluffy, myself, and Techie Reg call. Fantastic four, onto the flop. The flop's Queen 7-4 rainbow. It checks to me in the button, and with the top pair weak kicker, I'm gonna want to control the pot. I decide to check it back. The turn is a 3 of diamonds, bringing in the front door straight, and also giving me some backdoor diamonds. This time, Bluffy decides to take a stab, and puts in a big bet of 275. I have a marginal holding, but it's probably worth seeing another card. I make the call, and everyone else folds. The river's a 5 of clubs, bringing in a 4-liner. When Bluffy bets 700, I really want to make the call, but we lose to way too much in his range. I go with my gut again and just fold. We haven't lost many pots today, and this one was quite manageable. Alright, on to the next. Another double board PLO Bombpot hand, and our hand connects with both boards. Online Pro kicks off the action with a $150 bet. Techie Reg calls, I call, and oil money calls behind me. Pot's $800 heading to the turn, which is a 9 of diamonds up top and a 9 of hearts on the bottom. With 3 hearts on the bottom, it gets checked to me, and I pot it, $800. I really want to incentivize people to fold to avoid any chops, but only my left calls. The river gives me good showdown up top, though I'm not crazy about the bottom pairing, and in hindsight, I should have thought about this one a little bit more before checking. It gets checked behind, and although I scoop, I felt like I missed out on some value. There's very few hands here that can scoop me, so I gotta try to get another bet in. Next time. Ace King on the +3, raising it to 75. Splashy calls on the button and we're heads up to a flop of Ace Queen Jack 2 diamonds. With nut and range advantage, straightforward C-bet, $125. To my surprise, Splashy raises it up to 300. I'm still drawing to the nuts, so no way I'm folding. Plus, I got top. I make the call. On a 7 of clubs, I check it over, and he decides to take a free river. Interesting. So when the river breaks, I decide to just bet small, getting value from weaker aces. But all we get is a snap fold. Pretty savvy raise by Splashy. He told me he had a naked king and was trying to take it down. I guess there's a good chance I would have folded all of my weaker pairs. Big multi-way action incoming. Techie Reg and Kid Prodigy limps before Bluffy raises it to 125. This time, I decide to just put in a call and see what happens. Englishman calls, and both limpers complete the action. Texas heads up. The flop is Ace A6, 2 hearts. We check our trips to play and flow, but Bluffy doesn't stab at it. So on a King of Spades turn, I bet 250, and only Kid Prodigy calls. The river is a 5 of spades, giving us a boat, but it also completes the backdoor flush. I decide to check, hoping that he would bet, and he does, $600. I think there's plenty we can get value from, so we check raise him to 1600. But wait, I put in the wrong 4 chips and the bet's only 1200. Our opponent realizes how valuey the bet is, but puts in a call anyway. Silly mistake on my part, but I just play it off. Still, it's an excellent pot.
So you guys know that I recently signed with pokercoaching.com. What makes this truly special is that over the last 2 years, this was the primary website that I used to improve my game. Even today, I regularly use the website to study my pre-flop game. There are a ton of courses, my 2 favorite being the Cash Game Masterclass led by Jonathan Little, as well as the Advanced 6-Handed Play led by Olivier Bousquet. If you'd rather look at specific hands and want to test your knowledge in real time, there's over 1,600 quizzes for you to do so. Or if you have some time and want to take a class, there's a bunch. And shout out to my private coach, Brad Wilson. Anytime I see his class, you know I'm clicking. And for the ultra competitive, if you want to sign up to a challenge, go really deep dive into a certain specific topic, there's a list of challenges that you can complete. For those interested, I left a 3-day all access pass down below in the description. Try it out. Let me know what you think. And if you have any questions, reach out to me. Thanks, guys.
Premiums on premiums. Next hand's pretty clutch. Splashy raises to 75. With King Jack suited, I can either call or 3-bet on the cutoff. I've been running hot, so why not? 3-bet to 250 it is. Splashy's twin, let's call him Splashy 2. He's sitting on my left and he puts in the overcall. +3 completes the action, so we're going 3 ways to the flop. The flop's Jack 6-5 rainbow. I flop top pair good kicker, so when it's my turn to bet, I bet 300. The button calls and the +3 folds. The turn's a King of Hearts, giving us top 2. I think this is the part where most worse hands fold to a second bet. So with our opponent having less than a pot-sized bet left, I decide to check it over and lay the trap. And he takes it. He bets 700. He only has a few hundred left, so let's see if he's committed. I go all in for his remaining stack, but he disappointingly folds. I gotta say, what a play. And of course it helps when you just have it. Alright, so I can't make this up. My chips are in a rack and I'm getting ready to leave. And what do I get? Aces. For the 4th time. And somehow I get a razor in front of me. I put in a 3-bet to 300, and even better, a loose and aggressive player to my left puts in the code 4. It folds back around a Splashy, and he calls. Now, I'm in an interesting predicament. Splashy has put in a quarter of a stack, and if my 5-bet is too small, I may be inviting both players in. I decide to put in a large 5-bet to 3.5k, which is enough to isolate. Laggy thinks about it for a while, and folds. The action's on Splashy, and he's also tanking. Splashy's a wreck, and I've been playing with him a lot lately. It's been a good session, and I'd be plenty happy to end my session here. I decide to give him an out and let him know I have it.
I got it, Avi. I got it. Just fold it. I got it.
He says, "Do you really?" I nod, and he folds. No need to get greedy. This is a nice pot and a great way to end a much needed positive session.
Alright, what's up, you guys? So, session is over. I just wanted to play a little bit more so we could break 10k profit, and got really lucky on one of the last hands that I was able to play. We get pocket aces, and not only do we get raised in early position and gets a 3-bet, we get 4-bet right after us, and so we get a pretty nice re-raise in. The big stack folds, we get it back to early position, and he only has about like $1,000 or so, and I just didn't want to play unnecessary pot with someone that I play with often, so we kind of let him off the hook there. We just told him that we got it, and he folds. Anyway, great session. I needed a 5-figure score. Let's head over to the gas station. We're gonna play some Powerball tickets. If you guys don't hear from me in 90 days, it means that I won the lottery, bought an island, and disappeared. Anyway, hope you guys have a great day, great session. Hope everything is going well over there. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. And as always, love you guys. Peace.